So now I have this other episode that is the lost episode of ATA, if you will. So just to give you a little more backstory, we covered this episode. We wrote a whole script about it, which I'm looking at right now. Even the grading section was done. What I think we can do is we'll watch this episode together, and I'm going to pause with the timestamps that we have listed here and tell you what each section was going to be about. At the end of this, I'll let you guys guess what you think the grades that I issued were. Then we'll get to that at the end. So this should be interesting. First of all, this is coming from Chuck Bronson's channel. Shout out to him. And I'll read you the introduction that we had prepared. It says, on January 18th, 2021, 2 officers from the City of Tampa Police Department in Tampa, Florida, responded to a call for assistance from an individual whose vehicle became stuck after he accidentally turned onto some train tracks. This individual we will refer to as Mr. Driver. No additional information about the parties is known. The interaction that followed was captured on one of the officers' body cameras. All right, so that's all you need to know. Let's jump into it.
Let me have them tell you. Hold on.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, so I'm trying to see where my girlfriend. I need my girlfriend to know where I'm at. Long story short.
We're asking you what happened.
Can you get off the phone, please? We're trying to figure out what happened here.
Well, I tried to make this turn, and I thought it was this turn. It was dark, and I made this turn instead. Long story short, is I ended up off the tracks, and that's where I'm at now. So that's why I'm stuck now, and I can't move back or forward at all. I was asking them to send a police cruiser. I wanted them to send me a tow truck to be able to pull me out, but I have trouble in myself.
But it doesn't work that way.
I'm sorry?
Because you're drunk, but it doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
I'm sorry?
You heard me?
Sector 3.
I heard you. But that didn't make no sense at all. No, I'm not drunk.
Okay. November, Mike, Quebec 53. It's a black.
Okay, so we do have. Alright. I'm on Meridian.
You have your
I'm on
driver's
Meridian,
license,
and
registration,
it's not a traffic stop. I called you out here. You know, it's 4th Amendment rights.
It's a crash.
It's not a crash at all.
It is
no victim.
actually.
There's no victim. Where's the victim?
Who's the
victim? Who's the victim? Who's the victim?
License,
CSX.
registration, insurance.
I'm sorry?
CSX.
CSX is the victim?
You not see what happened?
They are the victim right now? Are they the victim
They're
right
having
now?
to stop their trains because
No, I know black and white how it goes. Lord, I know exactly how it goes.
Ignorant.
License, registration,
Ain't no means
insurance.
National Lounge. It's all right in there, but I'm not going to give it to you until I need to.
Right now you need to.
I gotta say, these 2 officers are being complete assholes. And granted, I do hear a bit of a slur in this guy's speech. You know, they're probably having some sensory inputs that we don't have right now. Maybe a smell in the air or something like that that would add to them saying, because you're drunk. So I don't think that that's necessarily an unfounded suspicion. Let me just read what we got here from the actual episode. So it says, the officers order Mr. Driver to show his license, registration, and insurance, arguing that he was involved in a crash. Various provisions of the Florida statutes require drivers to provide these documents, including section 322.15, which requires drivers to have their license in their immediate possession at all times while operating a motor vehicle, and to present their license to law enforcement upon demand. Section 316.646 of the Florida statutes requires drivers to carry insurance while operating a vehicle, and Section 320.0605 states that vehicle registration must be kept in the vehicle in the owner's possession while the vehicle is being used or operated, and should be exhibited upon the demand of a law enforcement officer. Pretty straightforward. But under Section 316.003 of the Florida statutes, an operator is defined as, quote, any person who is in actual physical control of a motor vehicle upon the highway or who is exercising control over the vehicle. We'll discuss this issue in further detail later in the episode, but in order for an individual to be considered to have actual physical control of a vehicle under Florida law, they must be physically in the vehicle and have the capability to operate the vehicle. As the officers approached Mr. Driver while he was outside of the vehicle, it's possible that a court could conclude that these statutes do not apply. However, Mr. Driver admitted to driving the vehicle, and it is possible that a court would find that the officers had at least reasonable suspicion to believe that he had committed a traffic offense by driving onto the train tracks, such as 316.1925 of Florida statutes, which outlaws careless driving and requires the individual to drive in a careful and prudent manner. Likewise, section 316.062 of the Florida statute states that the driver of any vehicle involved in a crash resulting in injury of death or to any person or damage to any vehicle or other property have to give their name, their license, etc. So the term crash is not defined in the statute, but it does not limit crashes to collisions between two vehicles. In the 2006 case of Department of Highway versus Williams, the First District Court of Appeals of Florida determined that a driver had been involved in a traffic crash for the purposes of another traffic statute when the driver ran a stop sign and came to a rest in a nearby drainage ditch, causing approximately $100 in damage to their own vehicle. So here, Mr. Driver appears to have made physical contact with the rails, resulting in damage to his vehicle, and as such, it seems likely that a court would conclude that Mr. Driver had been involved in a crash and was therefore required to provide at least his driver's license and registration to the officers. Obviously, if you're involved in some kind of motor vehicle accident, even if it's minor and doesn't involve anyone else, there's not a victim standard for this. You know, like he went off the rails onto the train tracks and crashed. I would say so far totally reasonable for them to request his ID here, and he's likely under a legal obligation to do so.
I'm at Meridian and Jackson. What are you doing? Whoa, 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 whoa.
She's pulling the knife
You
out of
just
your
hit her?
pocket.
Why
Yeah,
did you
she
this?
did.
Why did you? No, no, no.
Place your hands. Stop resisting.
I'm doing resisting, yo. I'm not resisting. What are you talking about, yo?
So you just pushed her.
No, I didn't.
Victor.
Are you kidding me?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I called you guys. And I
Doesn't
get
matter.
arrested
Actually,
for calling
you
you? Yes, I did.
Somebody
No,
else
no, no.
called.
I know the two boys that called you before school, and then I called you afterwards. Oh my goodness. So I call you for help, and I get arrested. That is crazy.
Let's watch that one more time.
Right now you need to.
I'm at Meridian and Jackson. What are you doing? Whoa, 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 whoa.
She's pulling the knife
You
out of
just
your
hit her?
pocket.
Why
Yeah,
did you
she
this?
did.
Why did you? No, no, no.
I mean, it does look like he was swatting her hand away a little bit. Granted, this is such a furtive and unexpected movement from the officer to just reach in this guy's pants. I mean, you can see his knife right here. Obviously, they're probably within their authority to take this knife, but the way that they did it was so weird and ridiculous. And then him swatting her hand away. I mean, why wouldn't you announce that? Why wouldn't you say, hey, I'm going to take this knife? Like, just reaching out and grabbing him like that is kind of ridiculous. And I think that he had a totally normal reaction to that.
You're the aggressive one.
You just pushed my partner.
No,
It's on
can say
video,
how you
so
want.
you can say whatever you want.
that's fine. You're the aggressor. You.
As the person who did not want to provide his information when we got here.
It's all right there.
It doesn't work for me. I'm not your bitch. I don't go to your
No,
car and
I
grab your
called you
shit.
for help. I didn't call you to be arrested. I called you for help. I called you for
Well,
help.
here we are.
And
Maybe
this
if you
is
would
what I
listen
did.
to instructions, you would not be arrested.
No, I didn't call you to listen to nobody. I called you for help. I needed some help. I needed assistance.
Without warning or explanation, one of the officers attempts to remove a knife from Mr. Driver's pocket. And when Mr. Driver pulls away, the officer alleged that he hit one of them and placed him under arrest. As we have discussed before on ATA, police officers may temporarily frisk a detained individual for a weapon if they have a reasonable suspicion that the individual is armed and can potentially pose a threat to others. And here, the officers appear to have been able to see that Mr. Driver had a knife. Although the infamous Terry case held that officers may conduct a weapons frisk, quote, where he has reason to believe that he is dealing with an armed and dangerous individual, courts have often minimized the dangerous element for this standard. instead concluding that an individual who is armed is inherently dangerous. For instance, in the 2017 case of U.S. versus Robinson, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals held that reasonable suspicion to believe that a suspect is armed is sufficient to establish that the suspect is also dangerous because, quote, the risk of danger is created simply because the person who was forcibly stopped is armed. While this Fourth Circuit decision is not legally binding on courts in Florida, the case has been cited favorably by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Florida, indicating that a court could conclude that the officers had the legal authority to remove Mr. Driver's knife, regardless of whether there was any reason to believe that he actually posed a danger to the officers. However, even if the officers were acting within the scope of their authority, it does not necessarily follow that Mr. Driver was guilty of a criminal offense for his response to their actions. Section 784.03 of the Florida statute states that battery occurs when an individual, quote, actually and intentionally touches or strikes another person against the will of another, or intentionally causes bodily harm to another person. Based on the body camera footage, it is not clear whether Mr. Driver actually hit the officer or simply pulled back in shock. If he did not actually touch her, he could not be convicted of battery. If Mr. Driver's hand did make contact with the officer, it did not appear to be particularly forceful, and while the 11th Circuit has explained in the 2014 case of Dixon v. U.S. that a Florida battery offense requires only the slightest intentional physical contact, if Mr. Driver accidentally touched the officer as he attempted to pull away, he could attempt to defend himself against a battery charge by arguing that the touching was not intentional. That's where my mind was going through this anyway. That's kind of like what I was thinking.
We need a 1031 for that Kia.
Oh yeah, look at that tire. He didn't just go off the tracks, man. He buried his tire right there. And what's weird is I thought that he was stuck because he was like, there was a rail on his car keeping his wheels off the ground, but it looks like he's been spinning his tires there for quite a while. I mean, that's a deep trench to just be sitting in like that.
Oof, what the heck? I think alcohol.
Well, we're gonna tell this to city for then. Just let it be.
I'm trying to get his.
Yeah.
Well, 28. You heard? 28. So then, inventory. Signal 28, so what inventory? Yeah, so what inventory? Okay. I got the insurance and I got his license, and you have his phone.
Handcuffs up there, these shit hurt. Love, can you look these shit up? Please.
So you heard it on the phone. This is obviously an accident because your tires have to make contact.
Yeah, because I'm like, I
Right.
can't understand this. I can't.
This is an accident. He hit something that made him end up like that, right? So we asked for his driver's license, his registration, insurance, and he said no. He has a knife right here, and he keeps putting his hands where you are, so I went to take the knife, and he pushed her. So that is why he's arrested. He's obviously drunk. We can't do anything about the DUI. But, like we said, this is a crash, and he pushed her.
Good.
And like, I'm trying to figure out, like, how did this happen? Like,
He won't tell us, so.
It's
Well,
like
why
10
is
feet
the
south of
car, like-
Jackson.
and he pushed you? I
Yes.
can't believe he pushed somebody. Huh?
Well, he's
Alcohol
drunk,
does that to
so-
people.
And he pushed you?
No, he
Not
pushed
me.
her.
No.
So that's why he's going to jail. Car's being towed. And that's that.
That's the only thing he's getting charged with is battery on a wild person also. We can't charge him with a DUI, unfortunately.
So he got lucky in that.
Wow, so that's kind of really shitty of them. The whole reason they're taking him to jail is because she decided to yank his knife out of his pocket, and he had a reaction to that.
In that aspect.
But we do have to tow the car. You wouldn't be able to drive it even.
Why not?
Right. Even
Why can't drive it?
because it's totaled.
It's-
The undercarriage has damage. You can't. You got to get a tow truck to pull that off the tracks. It doesn't just drive off.
Yeah, because he told me something about that. And I just ran down the street. Like, I just put on my clothes and come out here.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no way.
you can't pull that out of...
No.
I could...
But then there's damage to the bottom of it.
I could pull it out. I could take it home. I mean, like, not to his home.
Okay. Well, when the tow truck is it your car too? Is that what
No,
you're
it's
worried
not my
about?
car.
So it's under
His
his name?
girlfriend, that's his girlfriend. That's her car.
Okay. Well, then if it's not your car, then
It's
we-
not my
we
car.
can't
My
let
car
you-
is down the street.
Yeah, we can't let you take
I don't
it.
have no problems like this.
Right. Then we
And I
can't
don't
let-
play with, police officers,
Okay.
and I don't push people,
Yeah.
and I don't do these things.
Okay.
Like,
Well, unfortunately,
and
since it's not your car, we can't let you take it. If
I
it,
can't take it.
no, you can't.
It's not your car.
It's not in your name.
I'm pretty sure they could release it to her if he told them to.
It'd be a different story maybe if it were your car, but it's
Could I call the owner?
no.
No.
He's an adult, and these are the
Yeah, I
consequences.
know. He's a big baby.
Trust me, a tow truck is a lot cheaper than the
A
$10,000 DUI that he would have gotten had he been sitting in that driver's seat.
Yeah.
Okay. But now we need to start doing the paperwork and stuff, so.
I'll get out of y'all.
Okay.
Out of you guys.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, let me get to this last section. It says the officers state that they cannot pursue a DUI charge against Mr. Driver because he was not in the driver's seat when they arrived. And under section 316.193 of the Florida statutes, an individual is guilty of driving under the influence if they are, quote, driving or in actual physical control of a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or with alcohol blood level at least 0.08. According to the jury instructions for DUI charges, actual physical control means that the defendant was physically in or on the vehicle and basically had the capability to operate the vehicle. And that's regardless of whether or not they're actually operating the vehicle. So basically, if you have the capability to be operating the vehicle when they find you, if you're sitting in the seat, you got the keys in your hand, something to that effect, you can almost certainly be charged for a DUI if you're intoxicated. You can do a warrantless arrest for DUIs when they're committed in the presence of an officer, but section 316.645 creates an exception to this rule and authorizes officers to arrest any driver of a vehicle involved in a crash for certain offenses, including DUIs. So accordingly, the First District Court of Appeals of Florida explained in the 2023 case of State versus MacArthur, they upheld a DUI case of an individual who was found standing near his mostly overturned vehicle after a single car accident. So officers can make warrantless DUI arrests under a so-called crash exception, even if they do not observe the driver in actual physical control. In that case, the officers had additional reasons to suspect a DUI. In this case, they didn't really pursue much of DUI investigation beyond, what we witnessed at the beginning, because they were already convinced they couldn't arrest him for a DUI. Obviously the regular signs also contribute to that, like bloodshot eyes and things like that. But here, Mr. Driver's error in driving onto the tracks was arguably reckless and dangerous, although such a mistake could happen to an individual who was not under the influence of alcohol. And while his speech did seem a bit slurred, The body cameras does not show any other signs of intoxication, and neither of the officers provided justification for thinking that he was under the influence. And as such, court would likely find that the officers were within their authority to arrest Mr. Driver for DUI if they had probable cause to believe he was under the influence. But it's certainly questionable whether they would have probable cause to do so, although they may have developed it if they had chosen to do field sobriety testing. Basically, what happened here was they didn't realize that they could have had an arrest for DUI just based on the circumstances that they came upon. He admitted to driving. They found his car in a wrecked position. Damage was caused to the vehicle. This fits the definition of a crash under Florida law. All they need beyond there being a crash to get a DUI conviction, or at least have probable cause to make a DUI arrest, is to perform a couple of field sobriety tests. But these cops thought that because they came upon the scene and he wasn't actually in control of the vehicle, well, that's over. DUI investigation out the window. But that's certainly not the case. They could have pursued this more diligently. Instead of arresting him for the bullshit battery on an officer, they could have done what was prudent and arrested him for a DUI, pending that he failed the field sobriety test.
Have a good night.
He's in the back. He's getting
Good. Okay, well, he's being 1015 due to the circuit 4 originally, so it's a crash and it can be ordered this way.
Okay, yeah, I have to do my call Orient Road Jail and see what. You don't have anything to do with the jail. You have to figure out the jail. Google jail and it'll pop up.
But, excuse me, ma'am.
What?
Can I tell my girlfriend something? real
No.
quick? I can't tell her anything?
No.
Why not? You won't allow me that?
He'll have your
That would be me using my discretion and being courteous, which I don't have to do.
You don't have to. Why not?
Exactly, because I don't need to. You've given me no reason to go out of my way to do anything for you.
He hasn't given you any reason to be a complete asshole either. This is their default attitude. If you don't let me jerk this knife out of your pants without any warning, you're fucked, buddy. No more discretion. Ridiculous.
But I'm a citizen.
I don't care. I'm a citizen too.
Yeah, but you work for the citizen. You work for the people. Though. You don't care to be courteous to people?
I don't have to be courteous to someone who pushed me.
I didn't push you. Stop it.
It's on video, so whatever. Take it to court.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
You also wouldn't give us the information we asked for,
The
so...
information is all in the car. You all have it right now already. So now what is the issue? Your pride, that's it? You work for the people and your pride is what makes you...
I work for the city. I don't work for the
You work for
people.
the people. You work for the people.
Who do you think makes up the city? Who do you think the city is, officer? You do work for the people. Just because you don't have a board of taxpayers that you have to answer to doesn't mean that your money's not coming directly from their pockets. You work for the people. The city is the people. Without the people, there would be no city.
You pay your taxes. You pay your
I
taxes.
pay my
You have it.
taxes too.
Oh, don't worry. I'm requesting everything. All of it.
Go ahead.
I'm before request everything. I know all of my rights. All of
Okay,
it.
good for you.
You don't need to read it 22. Damn. Okay, loosen up no cuss at all. You don't want to treat citizens
We
right
will
at
check
all.
them. Give us a second.
No, second at all. You've had thousands of seconds. So
Well,
loosen
you
up
called
no
your
cuss.
girlfriend to come over here, so we had to deal with her. I don't know what
but
she's
before
gonna
that,
do.
I asked you to loosen up the cuss.
No, you
Yes,
didn't.
did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Where's this from?
The two female cops, you have too much pride. You don't understand she recognizes she works for the damn people, bro. You can't be passionate about it.
Where's this from?
A civil courtesy is needed.
Ma'am, step away from the car.
I was just there, his registration.
Okay. Well, you need to put that back.
I just turned the car off because
Okay,
it was running.
gotcha. Can I have the keys back?
Oh.
Thank you. You can't go in the car. And we already told you this.
Oh,
We
I
already told
didn't.
you this.
No, yeah, I didn't
Okay.
tell you.
Can you please
I'm
step away
sorry.
now? Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Let me see the cuffs. If you want me to listen.
There's no purpose of calling on. It's with the open. There's no purpose of calling on. I'll do it myself. If it's the results, people that's supposed to serve protect, they don't come and harass and arrest. Why call them? Oh, tow truck. I have AAA already too, and I told them I have AAA. I'm going to use them. I have 3 more moves that I can move on them.
See, that's the thing, dude. You got AAA and you don't even use them. That's the problem. That's the problem here. Use them. Why do you have AAA and you call the cops? Makes 0 sense. That makes me think he might be drunk. It's not too late. AAA is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. They come out pretty much no matter what. It's not too late.
Pay for it yearly. Everything is registered. My license, my registration,
Fix
everything
forward
is
if you want
fine.
me to fix these.
Yes, please. But everything is fine. But you just want your you just want your you want to get your thing for your arrest. You're like, damn.
Well, now let's get to the fun part. Here's the conclusion section of that episode. It says, no additional information is known about the charge against Mr. Driver or the aftermath of this encounter. The title of the original video posted on Chuck Bronson's channel implied that the 2 officers were fired in relation to this incident, but no further details were provided, and I was unable to confirm this claim via external sources. So this is the reason we did not cover this episode ultimately. We started working on this episode thinking that the officers had been fired, but as we were researching the episode, it appears that they were not fired. We don't think they were fired. So there wasn't really a good selling point for this interaction anymore. With that said, let's hear your grades. Let's see what you got. C- for the guy and a D for the cops. No D's. There's no D's on the grading scale, just so you guys know. It's A, B, C, or F. Yeah, the officers did not get fired, obviously. It seemed like everything was lawful, so they did not get fired. That's not how grading works. That's how grading worked in my school. We did not have D's. So that's why I adopted that grading scale. No, D's are failing. D's are F's where I'm from. Cops get an F, driver gets an F. C for the driver, C for the cops. F for the cops, C for the driver. All right. Well, here's what I had to say in the grading section. Overall, the Tampa officers get an F for unnecessarily arresting Mr. Driver for his seemingly instinctual response to their unannounced seizure of his knife, maintaining a hostile and unprofessional demeanor throughout the interaction, and misrepresenting the facts when explaining why Mr. Driver had been arrested, claiming that he had pushed an officer when the footage shows that he at most may have lightly touched her. The officers also demonstrated a lack of understanding of Florida law by claiming that they could not arrest Mr. Driver for a DUI because he was not in the driver's seat, when they likely could have done so under the crash exemption if they had developed probable cause to believe that he was intoxicated. Throughout the interaction, the officers repeatedly failed to de-escalate the situation or effectively communicate with Mr. Driver, and had the officer simply announced that she was going to remove Mr. Driver's knife, the entire encounter could have gone in a different direction. This encounter demonstrates the importance of clear explanations and communication during police-citizen encounters, and how officers can set the tone of an encounter through their choices and escalations. Mr. Driver gets a B-. because although I do not believe that he intentionally struck the officer, he did refuse to provide his driver's license and other documentations to the officers when he was likely obligated to do so, and maintained an argumentative and uncooperative demeanor throughout the interaction. It's important to note that I do not know whether Mr. Driver was operating his vehicle while under the influence, and thus I have not factored this consideration into my grade. And while I understand Mr. Driver's frustration at being investigated by police officers when he had called to request help, he had been involved in a single vehicle crash, and his driving behavior in turning onto the tracks was certainly suspicious. That being said, I do not agree that with the officer's decision to arrest Mr. Driver for battery, and firmly believe that much of the negative trajectory of this encounter was the result of the officer's failures, not Mr. Driver's. B- to him, mostly because the allegation of whether or not he was actually drunk, we have no way of verifying that. So we didn't confirm that he was drunk, but I'm pretty sure he was drunk. If they had done field sobriety tests and he failed and he agreed to do them and failed them, or displayed some kind of signs, then he probably would have gotten a much lower grade, maybe even an F. That's the whole thing, though. If they had just done something to confirm that he was drunk, they would have had a DUI charge, but they didn't. They utterly failed to do one simple task that could have made all of this a lot more valid. I suspect that he probably beat the charge.